Many years ago, in a far, far away land, in the land of Egypt, there lived a king. What do kings look like? He wore a crown on his head, fancy jewels on his clothing, and lived in a big, beautiful palace. His name was King Pharaoh. Kings usually take care of the people who live in their land, but this king was not nice at all. He was bossy, and he made people work hard for him. And he never said thank you. Even so, everyone who lived in Egypt had to listen to King Pharaoh because he was the king. One day, King Pharaoh decided he wanted big cities full of big buildings, lots and lots of big buildings. He was going to use these buildings to store things in. These buildings were built with heavy bricks that were made out of the texture of sand. This sand mixture is called cement. But who will build these buildings? King Pharaoh had an idea. He called the Jewish people who were living in his land and told them that they had to do this job of building buildings for him. Now, building these buildings was hard work, but he didn't give the Jewish people a choice. He just told them they had to, and they were slaves. Did you ever hear of the word slaves before? What does it mean? A slave is when someone is forced to do work harder, work faster, and not given a choice. The Jewish people had to build these pyramids and ask no questions, even if they didn't want to. Now the Jewish slaves had no choice. What does it mean to have a choice? Freeze. Go.
Bang, 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 bang your hammers low. Bang, bang, bang with a heavy blow. 'Cause it's work, work, work every day and every night. For it's work, work, work when it's dark and when it's light. Dig, 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 dig your shovels deep. Dig, 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 there's no time for sleep. For it's work, work, work every day and every night. For it's work, work, work when it's dark and when it's light.
How do we build buildings today? We have big machinery and trucks to help us do the job. Why do we need these trucks and machines? Because the things we build with is so heavy, it's so hard for our bodies to lift and pull and move all those loads. But in those days, long ago, the people did not have machines or trucks to help them build buildings. They had to do everything with their bodies. Now, these towers that King Pharaoh ordered the Jewish people to build were made out of big rocks that were really, really heavy. Rocks that were even bigger than people. They were so large, but the Jewish people didn't have machinery. They had to carry the heavy loads on their backs and lift the heavy stones with their arms and push and pull. All that hard work lifting the rocks made them tired and hot. King Pharaoh didn't give the Jewish people ready-made bricks. They had to make their own bricks, and they had to take the sand and water and make cement on their own. It was very thick mixture and required a lot of energy to mix it. It was really hard work. There you go. The Jewish people were so exhausted. Their bodies were hurting them, and they were so sad. What happens when you see someone so sad? Don't you want to help them? Sure, that's what it means to care about someone, but not King Pharaoh. Oh no, he didn't care about how they felt at all. He just wanted them to work, 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 and build, build, build. That is also another part of being a slave. Often the master, he doesn't really care much about the slave and about providing them with their needs. The Jewish people said, "Please, may we take a rest from this hard work?" But King Pharaoh refused. He made them work even harder. The Jewish people felt so weak and hungry. They needed to eat and they needed to drink. They begged, please, please, can we take some time to eat our meals? But King Pharaoh didn't care. There's no time for relaxing and eating meals. All I care about is how fast you build those buildings. How did the Jewish people feel? What happens sometimes when we feel sad? Sometimes when we are sad, we cry tears. Tears stream down from our eyes on our cheeks. The Jews were crying with tears coming out of their eyes because they were so sad. At our Seder table, we dip a vegetable into salt water to remind us of the salty tears the Jewish people cried.